constraints, I'm aware that these can come in the way of efficient rollout of projects as well. Lastly, I would encourage all the MDB partners present here to focus on innovation, to focus on community-led progress and sustainable solutions, whether in urban development or skill building, truly in the spirit of Finance Plus. We are confident that our deliberations today and tomorrow will be fruitful, forward-looking, and contribute meaningfully to the collective goal of accelerating sustainable development across the northeastern region. With this, I would once again welcome and thank all the esteemed guests and participants to the workshop. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your welcoming remarks and for setting the stage for the discussions ahead. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to be joined by a long-standing partner in the development of both India and the northeastern region. May I now invite Mr. Johannes Zuth, Vice President, South Asia Region, World Bank Group, to deliver his address on behalf of the multilateral development banks, international financial institutions, and bilateral development partners. Mr. Zuth, please.
Thank you very much. Honorable Finance Minister, Mrs. Sitharaman, Honorable Chief Ministers of our state, our host state, Meghalaya, of Assam, Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura, and Sikkim, Honorable Secretary of the EA, senior officials of the states that we are working with here in the Northeast. It's a genuine honor to be here in Shillong with all of you today, and a privilege to help open this workshop alongside such distinguished company. Let me begin by thanking the Department of Economic Affairs and the state of Meghalaya for organizing this initiative. Events like this one reflect an important institutional understanding that the most binding constraint in development is rarely the presence or absence of financing. It's actually the capacity to use that financing effectively. And it's in order to help improve that capacity in these northeastern states that we are gathering here today. The World Bank Group's commitment to the Northeast is deep and growing stronger. I had the privilege, Madam Minister, about 6 weeks ago to be in both Assam and Meghalaya, visiting a number of projects here, interacting with state officials and also communities to see the excellent work that's happening in this part of the country already. I was genuinely inspired, and it has only strengthened my conviction that this region is not waiting for its moment to come. It's creating it day to day. Across the region, we're seeing much excellent activity that's exemplary for other parts of our programming. We have 16 projects in the Northeast for a combined value of $2.3 billion, and each state is forging its own way forward, building from strengths that it has, and I'd like to just highlight a few examples. Assam, with its scale and ambition, anchors our largest portfolio in the region. Meghalaya stands out as one of the best performing state partners that we have in the entire country of India. Tripura is pioneering rural economic transformation. Nagaland is investing in its landscapes and classrooms. And Manipur and Sikkim are building the governance and service delivery foundations to reach women and youth. This is a region of extraordinary diversity and ability, and each state in the region has the capacity to teach something to the others. Our engagements here span the full spectrum of development activity. We're in connectivity, health, education, skills, environmental management. But I want to say that the ability of the states to implement the projects that they are working on is not always commensurate and has not always kept pace with the ambition that these states have. We have large projects, we have projects that are very well designed, but translating on the approvals in projects to real progress on the ground remains a shared challenge. And it's addressing that challenge, that's the purpose of this workshop. A particular challenge that we are working with the northeastern states, and indeed the whole of India, to help further is helping move from a model of public financing alone supporting development projects to one where public investment actually leverages private finance. This is a challenge that you, Madam Minister, gave to us a few years ago in your Budget Plus, Finance Plus formulation. In the World Bank Group, we've really taken this to heart, and I'd like to report that over the last 12 months, which coincides with our fiscal year, IFC and the World Bank together will have mobilized about $10 billion of private capital alongside the financing that our institutions are providing. We see the Northeast as a strategic opportunity for India and are delighted to be working here with all of you. The region sits at the crossroads of India's Act East policy and in the most dynamic part of Southeast Asia. It has extraordinary natural endowments. It has a young and increasingly entrepreneurial population, and it's demonstrating growing institutional readiness to partner with MDBs on complex and long horizon programs. And there are a number of initiatives that I'm quite confident will yield very significant results moving forward. And I'd like to highlight just a few of those quickly. One is agriculture. The region's not just a food producer, it's also home to some of India's most distinctive and globally competitive products: organic spices, exotic fruits, specialty teas, silks, forest products, things that command premium prices both in domestic and foreign markets. Yet much of that produce is lost to poor post-harvest infrastructure, long supply chains, weak market linkages. And it's in that context that we are working on something that we call AgriConnect, trying to build full value chains, connecting smallholder farmers to aggregators, to processing facilities, to logistics networks, and ultimately to consumers across India and indeed across the fast-growing markets of Southeast Asia. And in this context, Madam Minister, I'd like to mention to you that I had the pleasure in March of this year to visit the Gudakote Farmer Producer Organization that you recommended to me when we met in January, and which you've been supporting, to see how a similar approach is helping farmer-producer organizations, members of farmer-producer organizations in Karnataka to raise their ambition, move from subsistence farming to surplus farming, gain more income, and improve their quality of life. I found that a very, very inspiring visit, and I thank you for recommending that to me. This is something that the region, the northeast region of India, could also take up. The agenda is a natural fit for this part of the country. Beyond agriculture, I'll just mention two other initiatives. One is the PM Setu mission, which we are supporting, and the other is Meghalaya's Empower project, which is well-positioned to help equip young people to develop their skills and participate more fully in the economy. But none of this will deliver lasting results unless state departments have the systems, the capacity, and the institutional confidence to implement these projects well. And that is the work of the workshop that we are kicking off today. Procurement, financial management, environmental and social safeguards, monitoring and evaluation. These are the load-bearing walls of every project that we build together. When those walls are strong, projects deliver. When they are weak, even the best designed interventions will stall. I want to close by stating that the World Bank Group is here as a long-term partner to share knowledge, bring global and local lessons from our engagements, and help strengthen the institutional capacity of India's northeastern states. Our goal is to support each state in building the systems, skills, and strategies needed to deliver lasting results, attract investment, and sustain growth across the Northeast in a growing and prosperous India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zoot. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move to the special addresses by the Honorable Chief Ministers of the Northeastern States. Distinguished guests, as the Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland, Dr. Neiphiu Rio, has an urgent official commitment to attend to, we will therefore invite him to share his remarks first. Sir, please.
Thank you very much. Respected Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji, the Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, my esteemed Honorable Chief Ministers, colleagues, and Minister representing the Northeastern states, representatives of the Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, donor, Niti Aayog, representatives from all the MDAVs, senior officers of various state governments, and from the Government of India, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to address this gathering on leveraging of externally aided project, a subject that is crucial to our central to our development aspiration and to our efforts to improve the quality of life of our people, especially in our region. I wish to acknowledge the invaluable contribution of our developer partners, especially the World Bank, Asian Banks, Asian Development Bank, JICA, KfW, NDB, and all others multilateral development banks. Your support has gone far beyond financing. You have provided technical expertise, institution strengthening, global best practices, and innovative approaches to development. I also extend my sincere appreciation to the various ministries of Government of India for their continued support in facilitating development in the state and region. And I must express my gratitude for Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji for his presence here and his commitment for the Northeast, and to the Government of Meghalaya for hosting this seminar. As we discuss the strategies to leverage EAPs for development objective of the Northeastern region, we cannot ignore the realities of these hilly states with dispersed settlements, fragile ecosystem, customary land holdings and ownership system, and limited institution capacity. So far, Nagaland has completed 4 EAP projects worth 1,43.06 crores and 5 projects worth 2,673.70 crores ongoing, and 5 projects have been posed to the Department of Economic Affairs, for which 2 projects have been accorded approval and is due for loan negotiation with our development partners. During the period of 2023-24 to 2025-26, Nagaland could utilize 1,184.93 crores out of the total approval ceiling of 2,135 crores, balance ceiling of 950.07 crores could not be availed for reasons beyond the state's control. This unutilized balance may be made available in the next ceiling period. Additionally, an increased ceiling for the state may be considered on account of improved absorption capacity and institution readiness from years of past learning. Let me draw your attention to three specific issues concerning which may be discussed during the course of deliberations. EAPs operate on a reimbursement basis requiring state pre-financing, and fiscal realities of small states in the northeastern region make timely pre-financing structurally really difficult, and for which advance financing from the MDBs may be considered. Multi-agency statutory clearances create undue delay, and therefore a special fast-track mechanism may be created for northeastern states. Then a standard implementation timeline may not adequately account for extensive community consultation and local decision-making process. As a result, projects frequently require redesigned contract variations, revised estimates, and implementations extensions. The way forward lies strengthening projects preparations, enhancing institutional capacity, and deepening collaboration between all stakeholders while being responsive to community needs and focus on sustainable outcome. Going forward, Nagaland sees intense opportunities for collaboration in such as climate resilience, sustainable agriculture, renewable energy, urban infrastructure, digital governance, health system strengthening, skill development, and entrepreneurship promotion. The state remains fully committed to improving project implementation, strengthening institutional capacities, and ensuring that every externally aided investment translates into tangible and measurable improvement in the life of our people. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
We thank the Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland for his address. Ladies and gentlemen, may we now request the Honorable Chief Minister from the host state, Meghalaya, Shri Conrad Konkal Sangma, to kindly address this distinguished gathering and offer his remarks.
Respected Finance Minister, Government of India, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji, all my respected colleague, Chief Ministers of the Northeast, our officials from Government of India and from all the state governments, all the different partners and organizations who are here today. I first of all would like to welcome all of you to our state and would like to thank our Honorable Finance Minister for coming up with this idea of having this program which would ensure that we are able to coordinate our efforts in a better manner and really take full advantage of programs like these and different schemes and funding, so that we are able to make that a part of our overall economic journey for the states, the region, and the country as a whole. So thank you so much to our Honorable Union Minister for having come up with the idea of having this particular program. I'll just go through a very short presentation so that we use the time in a most judicious manner. Next. Ma'am, this is, of course, the list of projects just to showcase to everyone how impactful externally aided projects have been for the Northeast. And of course, these are 15 schemes or programs that were funded by different agencies. And as you can see, that different agencies have funded different programs. Approximately about 12,000 crores worth of projects are going on in Meghalaya state. And what you can see is that the spectrum of projects that have been taken up, whether it is to do with natural resource management, whether it has to do with health and overall nutritional aspects of children, or whether it has to do with even aspects of the environment, and even infrastructure projects, even projects related to catchment area protection, and projects related to youth and overall development of the youth. So all of these spectrums of projects have been touched, and therefore it's a great source through which we are able to take forward the development process. Next. And this is just one simple slide to address or to showcase why externally aided projects are actually very effective. Number one, of course, is that it addresses multi-sectoral issues. And as you know, when we come to government departments and the government as a whole, there tends to be a tendency for us all to work in a very scheme-based manner. So we are very scheme-oriented. Whether the scheme has been implemented or not, money has been utilized or not. And in that entire process of focusing on the scheme, we end up missing the actual purpose of that particular scheme. And that is something that has become a natural or a common thing when it comes to governance. What we have realized that externally aided projects do is that they allow us to focus back on what really was the purpose. And therefore, that then engages and allows us to then activate different sectors, different departments, and ensure that they all work together and function like they should have, and ensure that we are able to achieve the objective and not just focus on, say, implementing the particular scheme. Second, of course, is that these kind of projects then allows us also to think out of the box. So therefore, we are looking at a problem, and sometimes, as I said, because of government guidelines and because of certain schemes, we are focused on certain ways to implement or solve that problem. But when it comes to externally aided projects, we've realized that because of the involvement of so many people and so many agencies, we end up actually coming up with a lot of innovative solutions that are not normally there in governments and in government procedure. Another very important aspect we've realized is what we call building institutional capacity. And that, I think, is a particular benefit that we normally tend to overlook. We realize that in order to be able to implement projects like these at the scale and the speed at which the different organizations and government expects us, we actually need to relook into our systems. It forces us to work better. It forces us to make things faster. It forces us to make decisions quicker. And I think that kind of an institutional setup which requires that, I think the capacity of the institutions, which the institutions or departments or government never thought that they could do, we actually end up doing the things that we thought we could not do. And of course, there's a lot of spillover effect. I will explain that also at a later stage. But we have realized that there's a lot of impact, not just in terms of the money that we receive from externally aided projects, but once we start implementing them, we realize that that effect comes into our central schemes, into our state schemes. Suddenly you find departments who were implementing a particular externally aided project end up doing better even in the state schemes and the central schemes. So it kind of spills over into our own schemes and therefore leads to better productivity of the system as a whole. Next. So just a simple aspect which I was mentioning, that it's a multi-sectoral problem that we end up resolving. So here you look at this early childhood development program that we have. Again, a very unique program funded by ADB, and it's a great initiative that is helping us a lot. Obviously, it's a very simple thing. It's, as the word says, early childhood development program, which is focusing on children between the age of 1 and 8, because we all know that scientifically proven that the cognitive thinking capacity in the child's brain, 90% develops before that age. And every second there is more than 1 million neurons being connected in the child's brain. And it's important for us as a society and a government and a country to focus on this phase. When we started doing this program, we realized that health department, education department, social welfare, urban development, rural development, everybody had to work together because it required all different departments to see that same goal, which is ensuring that we unlock the capacity of the child to the maximum level it can, which normally we tend to not do. So this externally aided project helped us, multi-sectoral problem being solved by one objective and one goal that was there in front of us. And next. And obviously, we've started seeing tangible results by implementing these particular programs. Just the latest NFHS report that came out, showed that our fertility rate has come down. And of course, I'm just talking about one program, but similarly in the early childhood development program, we had linked it up with another program of our state called Mother Program, where we looked at, the health and maternal mortality of mothers. And just to share with all of you, we have reduced that in the last 8 years by about 60%. Our maternal mortality has come down because of a very focused approach. But what I'm saying is that all of these dots were connected, and we created, a purpose-driven system, and departments started working towards a purpose. And all these numbers, as I said, I won't go into details, but are there to show that we are actually seeing tangible results. Next. Again, this is the part of the innovation when I mentioned that this has allowed us to think out of the box. So if you look at this, there was a project that we've taken up which we call the payment to ecosystem services. So we realized that, we are paying a lot of money for afforestation. So in one of the externally aided projects, we managed to convince the funding agency that let's not spend money on rebuilding the forest. What if we can give the money to protect the forest? So we are spending lesser, and we are saving time, and more importantly, we're preserving the forest. So in the payment for ecosystems, we are almost close to now funding about 1 lakh hectares, which is our target. We have done about 60,000 now, but very soon we'll touch 1 lakh, where we will be paying, or we are paying people not to cut their forests, not to touch their forest, and we're paying a set amount to them. Next. Again, ma'am, this is the same point about building the capacity. We feel strongly that the working with professional agencies and individuals and institutions has actually allowed us to build up an institutional system within our government, which has ultimately allowed us to end up, performing better, whether it's in procurement, whether it's, project appraisal, whether getting expertise, so on and so forth. All of these aspects have come in. Next. And obviously, when we do that, as I said, it has spillover effects. So whether you look at the payment for ecosystem services, so apart from the money that we are giving, now the farmers are actually, or the villagers are earning money from carbon credits. And we have tied up with different banks. Again, people who we met through different agencies who now are funding, and farmers are getting double benefit. We are having different unique programs like public-private partnership, which is community-based. We're doing it for tourism, we're doing it for agriculture, and tying up with many large organizations like the Gates Foundation. All of these spillover, I should say. The fact that they were never meant to be part of the tangible benefits, but these are benefits that are coming out because we are today implementing externally aided projects. Next. As you know that the Finance Commission has been quite tough on us this time, and the formula has changed. And because of the change in the formula, most of the states in the Northeast have lost out a large part of the share of central taxes, which is something we understand is not easy because the whole country has to be looked at. But the point being that because of that impact, we are financially and even from an economical point of view, will be hit in terms of the programs that we have. For example, Meghalaya, we have targeted that by 2032 we should touch 16 billion, which of course is a small number compared to the nation, but for us that's almost 3 times what we started off in 2018. And we expect that we'll be able to touch that number, and we have made our plans. But because of the problems of Finance Commission, this has been affected. And therefore, while the Pride of Hills program is going to help and support us, the externally aided projects are the second window for us to be able to move forward. And as you can see, the ICOR that we require is 1.57. And the financial requirement for that is almost about $6 billion we require. And though from the private sector we are increasing that amount to about $1 billion, we've already booked. We may be able to raise it up to $2 billion, but larger amount of that will have to come from externally aided projects. Next. This, ma'am, again shows you the growth sector. So as you can see, post-COVID, the yellow section, this shows the growth rate of Meghalaya in the last 5 years, which we touched at the 5.3%. And it's been a very steady growth, and we are also one of the few states that has got a real GDP growth of a hovering average, 10% average for the last 3 years. And therefore, the momentum is there. And therefore, I would like to stress just on one point that as Honorable Prime Minister keeps saying, yahi samay, sahi samay, we are of the opinion that the way the Northeast is placed today, whether it is from the political stability point of view, whether it's from the economic momentum point of view, or whether it's from the overall larger economic story of the country, the timing for us is the correct timing to ensure that this momentum continues. We are obviously concerned if the momentum goes down, then to pick up that momentum requires, again, if not decades, definitely it'll take us years to again come back to that. So with this kind of a momentum which you're seeing in this last chart where I'm showing, this is the kind of the takeoff point. And we strongly feel that this is the takeoff point we're looking at. I would want to quote our Honorable Finance Minister, not from an old speech, but from a speech she gave just about 2 hours back, where she said that why should Northeast talk about being left out in the economic growth? Northeast should talk about being the pioneers and being the people who will lead the economic growth. So it is with that mindset which Honorable Union Minister has today put forward in her speech. I would like to reiterate that this chart that I'm showing is showcases the growth, and we can take this forward, and we would urge, and I would urge on behalf of the entire Northeast, that in the last Finance Commission period, because of multiple reasons, a cap was put on the externally aided projects. I would really urge that in order for us to be able to fulfill our capacity and to be able to take the development forward and be the front runner for the economic growth of the country, if the externally aided projects are not capped and there's no ceiling that is kept, that will allow the states to really build on their capacity, move forward, and take maximum advantage of the different projects that are there. And that's really what I would like to conclude with. So I hope that the deliberations are positive. I'm sure there's a lot that we can learn from each other. And it should not just be for externally aided projects. Our northeastern states, we need to meet up for many things together. We need to work together for all of these things. Therefore, I urge that not just in this, whether it's tourism, whether it's agriculture, or other issues related to youth, we must always take this opportunity to come together, discuss, learn from each other, and hopefully work together to take all the Northeast and the country forward. Once again, Madam, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I wish this conference the very best. Thank you.
Our sincere thanks, Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, for sharing the state's perspectives on EAPs and the positive outcomes. Surely, Northeast should be the leader of economic growth, as so eloquently quoted by our Honorable Finance Minister. So thank you once again. May I now invite Shri Himonto Biswa Sarma, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, to deliver his special address. Honorable Chief Minister, sir.
Honorable Union Minister of Finance, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, my colleague, Chief Minister from Northeastern State, Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs and MDONA, distinguished partners from the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, AIB and NDB, senior officials, ladies and gentlemen. Today is an important day for Northeast, and I'd like to thank Ma'am Nirmala Sitharaman ji coming all the way to Shillong and for providing us this opportunity to focus on externally aided projects. My colleague, Chief Minister of Meghalaya, has already laid the foundation. I'd like to reveal here that Assam is one of the important beneficiary of externally aided projects, and during 14 Finance Commission period, Assam got 9 approved EAPs with an approved cost of rupees 7,500. In 15 Finance Commission period, we took EAP very seriously, and we got approval of projects of rupees 53,000 crore, where loan assistance was 40,000 crore. So this is the list of the externally aided projects which we are working now, and many projects has already been completed, and many projects are in implementation stage, and we have learned a lot during this process of implementation. And I must tell this house that we have completed certain important projects in very limited period of time. I still recall that ma'am went to lay the foundation stone of Lower Kapili hydroelectric projects, and within 3.5 years the project has completed, and now we are getting power in the grid from that projects. Projects like Kumar Bhaskar Burma Setu, funded by NDB in the midst of Guwahati, has recently been concluded, and in the month of February, Honorable Prime Minister has inaugurated that project. Now that project is becoming the main connecting points between South and North Guwahati. Thereby, Guwahati has got first time the opportunity of getting expanded. Today, with the assistance of JICA, we are working on Dhuburi Fulbari Bridge. Once it is completed, although that EAP we have not got directly but through NHIDCL, if that bridge is completed, it will give a smooth connectivity up to Tura, then from Tura to Bangladesh. So that's kind of big projects are happening in Assam. In Guwahati itself, another bridge on Brahmaputra is at present, we are working on, likely to be completed in 2028. The most important successful story of our EAP is the power sector. Assam power sector was considered to be in the bottom. We were not anywhere in the national scene till 2-3 years back. Today our power company is A, and next year will become A+. It is a profit-making organization now. We are going to list all the 3 power utility this time with the stock exchange. Work has already been started. Because of investment from ADB and other AIB, we have improved our power grid, our power network so much that today TND losses has come down from 19% to 13%. And we want to go down to 9%, that is our goal, because of improved power sector reforms, which we are doing with the help of our partners, ADB, AIB on the ground. With World Bank, we are doing projects. With France, we are doing projects. Our forest cover is getting increased. And when we look at this, all these projects has some transformation story. It is transform a particular sector, transform a particular locality, and it has also transformed the way we used to look development of a state, because they brought more reforms. They give us many opportunity of learning in procurement. Lot of changes has happened within our bureaucracy because of EAP. That is one of the strength of this EAP projects, because it comes with a dose of reforms. And because we undertake those reforms, our bureaucracy and our state is also improved. Today, my colleague from Meghalaya has shown about the growth story. According to Reserve Bank data 2021-2025, in last 5 years, Assam has been officially declared as a highest growing GDP state. We grow at 45% against the country's GDP of 29%. Reserve Bank has declared Assam is the fastest growing state in the country today. So that's and our GDP is continue, we are growing at 13-14%, and our debt GDP ratio is also under control below 25. So all this has helped because of these EAP projects. It helped the huge reforms within our bureaucracy, within our system. Ma'am, as you know, I am there in the government for a long time. 2014 and 15, our annual capital expenditure was just 2,000 crore. Thanks to Sakshi and EAP project, this year our capital expenditure was 26,000 crore. You can compare, ma'am, from 2,000 crore, we reached 26,000 crore. That's because of your two projects, Sakshi and EAP. That has fueled the growth like anything. So these are very, very important social transformation projects, and that is why whenever issue of EAP comes, we all become very excited and we want to grab more and more, because this is one thing which give us education, enable us to go through the process of reform, and also we can give clear result to the people. Ma'am, during the 15th Finance Commission, Government of India has put a ceiling on EAP. That point of time we all met you, but at the same time we were aware, because Government of India has to put fiscal discipline in some way or other. But even within the ceiling, we could get a good number of projects. In 15 Finance Commission period, Assam got a projects envelope of 36,000 crore. Barring 700 crore, we got sanction of each and every projects. Ma'am, there is a story in, we were working with a project with Asian Development Bank on 1,000 megawatt solar power. But by September, somehow it has been, we came to know that project has gone to ADB, because ADB board, because of some environmental concern. And we started having the feeling that this project may not get sanctioned. We talked to EAP, we talked to our finance department, we talked to Department of Economic Affairs. September, we decided that we will not pursue that solar project. Instead of that, we will build up Guwahati Medical College with a spending of 2,500 crore. From September, we worked, and by February, we got all the sanction, and the process, the construction has also now started. Within 6 months, we turned around the entire things, the money we could have lost because of the ceiling and because that Mars would be completed. But we decided, no, we'll take up that challenge. We changed the project. Instead of insisting with ADB, we thought that that can be done in the next financial year, Finance Commission period. But at least during this Finance Commission period, the money should not go waste. And we worked, everybody helped us, and we got it sanctioned. And today, ma'am, you will see that the way we are developing Guwahati Medical College. Now, ma'am, because with World Bank we work in a very unique way, we thought that Assam should, Northeast should have a proton therapy machine, because all this kind of radiotherapy is there in Mumbai, there in Chennai, but not in the northeastern part. Machine will cost us 400 crore. Within the savings of our one of health project we are doing World Bank, we could spare 250 crore. State we arrange another 200 crore. And today, Assam is going to have a proton therapy machine, and which will be the first in the public sector. Nowhere they are in public sector. It is with Apollo, it is with Tata. But in next 7 days, we are going to place order. Tender is completed, everything is completed, and it will be hosted in the Guwahati Medical College. Now, if EAP would not have been there, you could have imagined today, Assam power sector we would have languishing with 19% T&D losses. Our capital expenditure, if Saksi and EAP would not have been there, we will be somewhere around 9 to 10,000 crore. And you would not have seen the giant project like bridge on Brahmaputra. No, we do not have that kind of capacity as of now to build it without externally aided project. So ma'am, my whole argument is that this is a kind of soul for us. This is a Saksi become one of our very big help. We cannot think of living without Saksi now. And equally externally aided project which become key to our development initiative. Ma'am, if today people say, no, we are not going to lend or we are not going to give EAP, beyond a point, you will see a different Northeast. But every time now, ma'am, you are coming, we are showing you some of other projects. Today you have coming to Meghalaya. CM Meghalaya will show you some project. If you come to Assam, I'll show you some project. As a whole, Northeast is developing because of this external project. Ma'am, ceiling in this case, according to my view, it is inbuilt because you do not have to talk about ceiling because ceiling is in our mind itself because this project has 80-20, 20% is loan, then 10% is state share. So I will not take projects beyond my limitation because it has also cast a fiscal responsibility on the state because it will come in 80-20, 10% will be state share. So in a project of 100 rupees, my responsibility is 30 rupees. So 70% will come from Government of India. So ceiling is inbuilt. But the highest ceiling is that even if I have a basket of projects, I can get it sanctioned, but I have to pay first. World Bank or ADB will not pay us money at the first instance. We have to pay, then they will reimburse. So even if there is no ceiling, this is the highest level of ceiling because after paying my salary, after paying my pension, after paying everything, I have to have balance amount to pay. In 14 Finance Commission, ma'am, my capacity of paying was only 1,000 crore in year. Although basket of projects were very high, then banks started opposing that why you are taking projects. You are not able to pay the projects. So we stopped taking projects. We thought that if we cannot complete projects and the time will lapse, then they will not give us any other projects. So we started putting our own limitation. Then don't do projects more, pay more so that we can complete projects. Now in 15 Finance Commission period, we are spending now 6,000 crore every year for as a reimbursement. We get back 80% of that money from the Government of India immediately, but first I have to pay 6,000 crore. And no state of northeastern state cannot go beyond a point. Even if today Meghalaya you give 1 lakh crore, give Assam 5 lakh crore, I will not be able to pay the initial money which I require to pay along with the state share. Although central share will come back to me, state share will never come back. So we have a inherent limitation built on the architecture of the EAP itself. So again, imposing a ceiling is, I don't think that there is a requirement. The ceiling is inbuilt, paying of state share, paying money at first, and taking responsibility of lot of reform. Ma'am, World Bank come, they said you have to do P4R. So now all these things are so new to us. So even getting understanding of this actual reform, then say that no, we are agreeable to take this reform is also a call, which that is why the signing of loan agreement also gets delayed even if the project is sanctioned at the screening committee level. So, ma'am, my humble submission is that instead of sealing, I think you should allow us to take the challenge more and more. If you give us a projects more, then probably we'll cut our revenue expenditure and we'll put more and more money for the capital expenditure, because we have to comply with some regulation from the financial agencies like ADB, World Bank, NDB. So my request will be, ma'am, that more EAP will cut our revenue expenditure and it will improve capital expenditure more and more, and that will ultimately help us in getting growth acceleration or growth more in compared to the earlier years. So, ma'am, my humble submission on behalf of all my colleagues, Chief Minister, kindly rethink about the ceiling, and but we can commit to you that yes, even if there is no ceiling, we'll act most honestly. Will not bring projects which will not bring transformation to the society. And once DA said that these projects will not be good for Assam, good for Meghalaya, we will not pursue. We will only go by the norms, we will go by the national priority, because you know the priorities of the nation. We all know the priorities of the nation. We know the vision of our Prime Minister. Will only implement EAP project, will only bring projects before DA, which will be in tune with the priorities of our Prime Minister and priorities you have laid in the budget. So will not misuse the EAP, will not do anything which will bring bad names to our state, ma'am. We are really concerned, we are really touched that the way you are helping, as Conrad, Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya has also informed, that because revenue deficit has gone, we are going through a tough phase. But for Assam, nobody is seeing that because we have a capacity to borrow. So Nagaland, Meghalaya, they do not have the ceiling of borrow. We are managing the situation by enhanced borrowing. So EAP will ease out, Sakshi will ease out the situation for us. And of course, I know that you know everything, you know our problem, because no finance minister interact with the Northeast state so deeply. I am really very happy you are not only visiting Assam, you have gone interior to Nagaland, you have gone to Sikkim, you are coming to Meghalaya. So you have visited all the northeastern states and you know our requirement. So we don't have to speak again and again what we need. In maximum time, I know that you already, before we met you, you always mentioned the reason why we are coming to meet you. So you have already studied us, you are already aware about us, you are already know about our requirement. And in the Northeast, ma'am, this is the one of the most transforming story in the post-independence. Under the leadership of our Prime Minister, the way Northeast has transformed, the way Northeast has come to the center stage of the country, it had never happened earlier. I don't think of that. I am giving so much time to talk before a finance minister of this country. It never happened earlier, ma'am. These are some unique experience we all are experiencing. We are deeply grateful to you. Ma'am, my humble submission will be, please rethink about the ceiling. And ceiling is inbuilt. We will have a ceiling in our mind and while putting projects. But at the same time, if you allow us this time, 16 Finance Commission period, to get some of the most transformative projects, I think that will change the face of Northeast. Ma'am, once again, thank you so much. Thanks to all the officers from DA, including Secretary, ma'am, because all are helping us in a huge way. So, and also thanks and gratitude to all the partners, right from World Bank, ADB, AIB, NDB, France Project, France Bank, everybody. my thanks and gratitude. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam, for the reminder that when the right opportunities are created, the possibilities of transformation are immense and limitless. Well, ladies and gentlemen, may I now invite Pu Laldoma, Honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram, to say a few words.
Respected Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Honorable Finance Minister, Government of India, my colleague, Honorable Chief Ministers of the Northeastern States, esteemed dignitaries. At the outset, I would like to reiterate the fact which I had brought to the notice of Madam as well as to my colleagues here, and that was Mizoram is a late starter. We are 20 years behind the rest of the country because we have been limping back to normalcy after 20 years long insurgency. So I want to reiterate this fact because Mizoram needs a special attention. My senior colleague, Himanta, is talking about big projects. I come here with small projects because during the last 20 years, all the schools and colleges were closed down. No education, no developmental activities at all. Because of that, we have become a late starter, 20 years behind the rest of the country. That's why today I would like to utilize this forum so that Mizoram may be given a special attention. So far, right now in Mizoram, we have 4 external sources under which 7 projects are being implemented. Under World Bank, we have 2 projects. One is construction of a major road between the capital that is connecting the second capital in the south, and the other one is health system strengthening project. Under ADB, we have one construction of a major road, as well as a project of universal healthcare scheme. Under IFAD, we have 2 projects. One is Focus, under which as many as 55,000 households has been touched, and this has raised the rural income by 43%. The other project is Tuirini Hydroelectric Project, which is about to be started. And under JICA, we have one project, and that is Super Specialty Cancer Center. This is nearing completion. So we have altogether 7 projects under 4 sources of external sources. For a resource-strapped state like Mizoram, EAP have been transformative, enabling us to undertake projects of scale and impact that would otherwise have been impossible to finance. They have brought technical expertise, global best practices, and strengthened institutional capacities, helping us overcome geographical challenges and fiscal constraints. Given this track record, I would also submit that the EAP ceiling for Northeastern states need to be substantially raised. I strongly supported the points raised by Imantaji. Our region faces unique challenges of terrain, remoteness, and high service delivery costs. Enhanced ceilings would allow flexible, context-specific interventions especially in health, nutrition, and human development, where Mizoram has demonstrated strong capacity to absorb and implement external assistance. We are also grateful for the SASKI scheme, which has supported capital investment, though compliance requirements have at times delayed release of installments, creating funding gaps. Similarly, under the Pride of the Hills initiative, Mizoram's allocation has been modest despite our terrain and high service delivery cost, and we request equitable treatment in future allocations. Beyond EAPs, I wish to flag two broader issues. The first is the 10% gross budgetary support mechanism, intended to provide dedicated resources for the Northeast, but often remaining notional. Greater transparency in ministry-wise allocations and flexibility for states to prioritize projects would make this mechanism more effective. The second is the issue of income tax exemption for scheduled tribe residents of Mizoram. Parliament has consistently provided statutory exemption under Section 11 of the Income Tax Act 2025. Yet individuals, small traders, societies, farmers, artisans, and salaried employees continue to receive notices and compliance communications, often requiring them to prove facts that ultimately fall within the exemption. This imposes disproportionate hardship, especially in remote areas where the cost of compliance can exceed the income involved, and has become a recurring challenge in Mizoram. A simplified mechanism, such as panel-link self-declaration or exempt person tagging, would reduce avoidable burdens, improve taxpayer confidence, and give practical effect to Parliament's intent. In conclusion, I express my sincere gratitude to the Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and all development partners for their continued support. With cooperation and mutual understanding, we can further strengthen this partnership and address the emerging development needs of our states more effectively. Thank you.
We are grateful for your address, Honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram, and for sharing your experiences of the implementation of EAPs. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I request Shri Prem Singh Gole, Honorable Chief Minister of Sikkim, to kindly address the gathering.
Thank you, Madam. Honorable Union Finance Minister, Madam Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, today's guest of honor, Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Sri Konark K. Sangma ji, Honorable Chief Ministers of the Northeastern States, Honorable Finance Minister from Assam, Sri Jayantumala Barwa ji, respected Secretary Department of Economic Affairs, Sushri Anuradha Thakurji and other dignitaries from the DEA, respected Secretary Minister of Donor, Sri Sanjay Jajuji, respected Chief Secretary, Meghalaya and Assam, respected Advisor and Program Director, PPP, Niti Aayog, Sri Partha Reddy ji, respected senior officers from the Government of India and the state governments, respected representatives of multilateral development banks and international financial institutions, distinguished delegates and officials present here. Good afternoon and namaskar to all of you. At the outset, I express my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Union Finance Minister Madam for your continuous support, guidance and encouragement to the state of Sikkim. Under your leadership, Sikkim has received valuable assistance for its developmental
aspirations, and we deeply appreciate your special consideration for the unique challenges faced by the Himalayan and border state like Sikkim. I also thank for the support extended under SASKI, the approval of the Pride of the Hills initiative, and inclusion of Sikkim under the scheme for development of Buddhist circuit in the northeastern region. These initiatives will strengthen tourism, preserve our culture and spiritual heritage, and promote sustainable economic growth and livelihood. Sikkim is implementing several externally added projects across sectors such as power, forestry, connectivity, and social welfare. While these projects have significantly contributed to the state's development, I would like to suggest and urge that the Department of Economic Affairs conduct regular capacity building programs for state officials and facilitate exposure visit to best performing state to enhance institutional capacity and improve the effective implementation of externally added projects. Honorable Madam, another important issue relates to the communication of project sanctions. It is observed that approval details under tripartite agreement are not always formally conveyed to the state government. It is therefore requested that formal sanction order be issued, clearly outlining approved component, funding patterns, counterpart contribution, sharing ratio, and implementation condition. This will enhance transparency, clarity, and facilitate a smoother implementation and monitoring of project. I would also like to draw your kind attention to the challenges faced by small Himalayan states under the existing funding arrangement for external added project. Under the current EAP funding pattern, while 80% of project costs are financed through external assistance, state must still provide counterpart funding, which poses significant challenges for small and fiscally constrained Himalayan states like Sikkim. Given our limited revenue base, difficult terrain, ecological sensitivity, and high infrastructure cost, it is proposed that the EAP funding be aligned with the pattern followed for center-sponsored scheme in the Northeast and Himalayan state with 90% grant and a 10% loan support. It is also urged that the loan component be allowed over and above the state's annual fiscal deficit limit as externally added project finance critical infrastructure and productive asset with long-term developmental benefit. At the same time, the cumulative debt burden of EAPs on fiscally constrained states may be given due consideration. It is further requested that the value of land, right-of-way, supporting infrastructure, and other enabling investment provided by the state government may be appropriately monetized and recognized as a part of the state contribution and approving EAP proposal. In hilly states, the cost of making land available and creating enabling infrastructure is often substantial and represent a significant contribution by the state, although it is not always reflected in the formal financing structure. It is therefore respectfully requested that the fixed timeline be prescribed for completing all administrative and appraisal processes, preferably within one financial year, to ensure timely project preparation, approval, and implementation. Honorable Madam, it is also observed that frequent changes in mission teams of multilateral funding agencies, particular team leads, affect continuity and leads to delay in project appraisal. Greater stability and continuity in mission teams would facilitate smoother coordination and expedite project processing. Before I conclude, I once again express my sincere gratitude to the Honorable Union Finance Minister for conveying this important consultation and for the continued support extended to the Himalayan and Northeastern state. The suggestions placed before this August gathering are aimed at strengthening the EAP framework, improving project delivery, and enabling smaller and geographically challenging states to fully leverage the opportunities provided by multilateral development assistance. We remain confident that under your leadership, the partnership between the Government of India, the state governments, and multilateral development agencies will continue to deepen, fostering sustainable, inclusive, and resilient development across the Himalayan and northeastern states. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Our deep appreciation for your address, Honorable Chief Minister of Sikkim, which highlighted the progress, the challenges, suggestions, and plans of the state. And now, ladies and gentlemen, may I invite Dr. Manik Saha, Honorable Chief Minister of Tripura, to address the gathering.
Namaskar and good afternoon to all of you present on dais and of the dais. Today in this seminar or workshop on leveraging externally aided projects in the northeastern states, in Meghalaya, in Shillong, we have with us our Honorable Finance Minister, Government of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, Sri Cornard Kongkal Sangma, Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya. We have with us Sri Himanta Biswa Sarma, Honorable Chief Minister of Assam. We have with us Sri P.U. Lal Duma, Honorable Chief Minister of Mizoram, Sri Nefiu Rio, Honorable Chief Minister of Nagaland, Sri P.S. Gole, Honorable Chief Minister of Sikkim. Of Dayas, we have with us Honorable Finance Minister of Assam, Sri Kamakhya ji, Srimati Anuradha Thakur, Secretary, Department of Economic Affairs, Government of India, Sri Jonans Jot, Vice President, South Asian Region, World Bank Group, respected dignitaries and officials, and ladies and gentlemen. Tripura has been at the forefront of availing externally aided project from the World Bank, then Asian Development Bank, Indo-German Development Cooperation, and Japan International Cooperation Agency since last 2 years, 2 decades. Tripura's strategic partnership with ADB and ADB's Northeast Economic Corridor study has identified several opportunities in the industrial, urban, road, power, tourism, and health sectors of the state. Financial and technical assistance from multilateral agencies in just 2 years has doubled. Our GSDP already has doubled in 6 years. GSDP has increased from rupees 55,984 crores to 2019 to 20 to 1,795 crores in 2025-26. And with the financial and technical assistance from multilateral agencies has not only resulted in socio-economic development of the state, but also in administrative capacity building. Annual capital expenditure has increased from mere rupees 2,079 crore in 2021-22 to the record rupees 10,478 crore in 2025-26. Substantial increase in GSTP and capital expenditure is an indication of enhanced absorption capacity of the state administration. There are 8 external aided projects in the state of Tripura in the sectors like industrial infrastructure, urban infrastructure, tourism, then conserving climate and socio-economic development of the scheduled tribes. You know, our state is surrounded by Bangladesh from 3 of its sides. Tripura shares on Tripura shares an 856-kilometer international border with Bangladesh, approximately 84% of the state's total perimeter, that is 1,018 kilometers. Rest, we are connected with Mizoram 109 kilometers and Assam 53 kilometers. Therefore, our state, as it is surrounded by Bangladesh from three sides of its, any political turmoil in neighboring Bangladesh has an impact on the economy of Tripura. The state requires to maintain more number of police force to contain crimes related to international border. For many years, desired development has not been taken place in the state due to many factors. However, over the last few years, we have received tremendous support from the Government of India under EAP, that is external aided project, and this has helped us to put the growth trajectory of the state's economy on the right track. Our state is largely dependent upon the central grants and central transfer. Our state contributes only about approximately 15% of the total budgeted funds from its source of revenue, as the revenue base of the state is very low. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Modi ji, and Honorable Union Finance Minister, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji, who have instrumental in helping the development process of our state by sanctioning a good number of externally aided projects. Further, I would like to flag here that there were no ceiling for EAP prior to 2023-24. Regarding these ceiling matters, already have mentioned by my previous speakers, our Honorable Chief Ministers. But after the ceiling, we have seen that it has been imposed. It has become a deterrent for taking up any project for which the state has already availed project readiness financing. It is requested to remove ceiling limit. Again, I will say the same thing, I will repeat, for the external aided projects from this financial year. Ceiling on externally aided projects, Government of India has fixed ceiling on EAP for signing of loan agreement. The ceiling was rupees 4,146.79 crore during the period between 2023-24 to 2025-26. Due to the ceiling, state government could not sign loan agreement for the projects, namely Tripura Urban and Tourism Development Project, that is in second phase, about rupees 750 crore. And number two, Agartala Municipal Infrastructure Development Project, rupees 960 crore, for which even PRF had already been availed by the state government. Furthermore, namely Tripura State Highway Improvement and Urban Mobility, rupees 1,541.14 crore has been approved by DEA, but loan agreement is yet to be signed. The project, namely Renewable Energy Transition Acceleration Project Tripura, that is rupees 1,664.00 crore, uploaded on EAP portal, is yet to be approved by the DE. The project named Agartala AICT, rupees 960 crore, is pending with state government to upload on EAP portal. Due to ceiling, Government of India may be requested not to fix any ceiling on EAPs for Tripura state. Our state already, it is the third smallest state in the country. So I will request again, the same way our Honorable Chief Ministers already have mentioned about it, to remove this ceiling. The state, in Tripura state, we are facing difficulties due to discontinuation of revenue gap grant as per recommendation of 16th Finance Commission. Here also the 16th Finance Commission has discontinued. We know that the revenue deficit grant since 2026-27. During the 15th Finance Commission, state government has received rupees 19,890 crore as revenue deficit grant. If the same trend would have continued, Madam, this state would receive rupees 21,879 crore over the 5 years of 16th Finance Commission, considering 10% growth. However, we would like to thank Government of India for allocating funds under Pride of Hills, which can be spent on different expenditure. So in the Pride of Hills, I would like to say that Government of India has allocated an amount of rupees 3,450 crore under Part 10, Pride of Hills of Saski 2026-27. However, the allocation of fund under this part is not sufficient to manage the state finances, assuming that this is given in lieu of revenue deficit grant. It should not be tied up with utilization certificate against projects under SASKI. It is requested not to link this fund with utilization certificate against projects under SASKI. Therefore, it is requested to enhance the allocation under Pride of Hills. In spite of having so many constraints, we have been tirelessly working to make state to have minimum basic infrastructure for our own citizens, with the active support of the Government of India for taking lot of initiatives to develop Northeast India. I hope we will be able to create more employment by improving industrial infrastructure, road connectivity, skill development, and renewable energy. Wish this seminar or workshop a grand success. With this, I conclude my speech. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.
We thank the Honorable Chief Minister of Tripura for his address. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, our sincere thanks to the Honorable Chief Ministers for your remarks this afternoon. The gathering has indeed benefited from your valuable perspectives. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we arrive at a significant moment in this inaugural session. It is now a privilege to invite the Honorable Union Minister of Finance and Corporate Affairs, Government of India, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, whose presence today underscores the importance of this dialogue, to kindly deliver the keynote address. Madam.
Good afternoon to, thank you. Good afternoon to all. Honorable Chief Ministers. This is one such a rare occasion when all Chief Ministers together are speaking about issues of development and highlighting the concerns in wanting to do more, assistance which may be of use in wanting to do more, and also a fact which most of us have recognized in the Department of Economic Affairs and also within the states, that there's a need for capacity building. So in that context, building and strengthening institutional capacity, it was felt that it would be a very useful exercise, even if just a day is spent or a day and a half is spent, with the Chief Ministers giving the lead and their respective teams sitting together and discussing on how to go about it. So broadly, in a very cursory fashion, I've just put this forward. But Honorable Chief Ministers on the dais, officials from the state governments and the Government of India, representatives and from multilateral development banks, bilateral development partners, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It certainly gives me a lot of pleasure to join you today at this important workshop on strengthening institutional capacity in the Northeastern region. As I said at the outset, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to the Government of Meghalaya for hosting this workshop and for the excellent arrangements made. This two-day workshop brings together policymakers, development partners, and practitioners from across the entire region, the Northeastern region, to think deeper about impact through programs from MDB financing. So it is particularly heartening to see all 8 Northeastern states represented here. This reflects the spirit of cooperation, partnership, and shared purpose that has increasingly come to define the development journey of this region. Friends, the Northeastern region stands today at an important moment in its developmental journey. Over the last decade, significant investments have improved infrastructure, about which all the chief ministers referred while they spoke, expanded connectivity, strengthened social services, and enhanced economic opportunities across the region. Yet, the next phase of growth will require more than investments alone. It will require stronger institutions, greater implementation capacity, deeper partnerships, and the ability to convert opportunities into lasting developmental outcomes. It is in this context that today's workshop assumes particular significance. The objective before us is not merely to discuss projects or financing. It is to build stronger systems, stronger institutions, and stronger capacities that can accelerate the transformation of the Northeast and enable every state to fully realize its immense potential. Under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi, the Northeast has moved from the margins of policy making to the mainstream of India's developmental agenda. The Prime Minister has repeatedly emphasized that the Northeast is not India's frontier. It is India's front runner. He has also described the region as India's Ashtalakshmi, 8 embodiments of prosperity, whose strength enrich our nation through their culture, biodiversity, entrepreneurship, strategic location, and also human potential. For our government, the development of the Northeast is not merely a regional priority. It is a national imperative. It is a national imperative. A Vikasit Bharat by 2047 cannot be realized without a prosperous, connected, and empowered Northeast. So, on the theme of today's workshop, I will highlight 8 important enablers together can create for the development of the 8 states in the region. So I will highlight 8 important enablers for the development of the 8 states in the region. These 8 essential enablers together can create the foundations of sustainable, inclusive, and resilient development of this region. So the first enabler is leadership. Every successful transformation begins with leadership. At the national level, the Northeast has been benefited. It is continuing to benefit from the unwavering commitment and the vision of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi. At the state level, the Honorable Chief Ministers have demonstrated remarkable ownership and determination in driving development initiatives and reforms. When leadership is aligned between the center and the states, development gains momentum and citizens gain confidence. The second enabler is institutional capacity. Projects succeed not because resources are available alone, but because institutions possess the capability to design, prepare, implement, monitor, and sustain them effectively. Strong institutions enable better planning, faster execution, greater accountability, and improved service delivery. This workshop is a recognition of the importance of this pillar and provides an opportunity for all stakeholders to learn from one another and strengthen systems that will endure beyond individual projects. The third enabler is the human capital and women-led development. The Northeast's greatest strength is its people. The region's young population, entrepreneurial spirit, rich social capital, and strong community institutions provide a powerful foundation for future growth. I would particularly like to acknowledge the extraordinary contribution of women across the Northeastern region and each of the states. Whether in entrepreneurship, agriculture, handlooms, self-help groups, education, healthcare, or community leadership, women have been at the forefront of development. The fourth enabler is development finance. Ambition requires resources. The Government of India has consistently enhanced public investments in Northeastern region. However, the scale of aspirations before us requires us to leverage every available source of development finance. This is where multilateral development banks and bilateral partners play a vital role. Their contribution goes beyond financing. They bring technical expertise, global knowledge, innovation, capacity building, and implementation experience. I would encourage all states to view development finance not merely as a source of funding, but as a strategic instrument for accelerating transformation. So our objective should be to ensure that every state possesses the institutional readiness and implementation capacity required to effectively access, absorb, and utilize these resources for the benefit of its people. The fifth enabler is private investment. Public investment creates the foundation, all right, but private investment creates the scale. The Northeast possesses immense opportunities in tourism, logistics, agribusiness, food processing, renewable energy, digital services, and creative industries and manufacturing. I have not specified orange economy, that's a very big contributor. So all these immense opportunities will have to be fully realized in their potential. Our effort should be to create an ecosystem where entrepreneurs and investors view the Northeast as a destination of opportunity and innovation. The sixth enabler is connectivity. Connectivity is far more than roads and bridges alone. They are fundamental, I'm not denying, but it is far more. It is about connecting people to opportunities, markets to producers, students to education, and communities to services. Over the last decade, the Northeast has witnessed unprecedented improvements in roads, railways, airports, digital infrastructure, and power connectivity, which most speakers, our chief ministers, have recognized. These investments are laying the foundation of, or foundation for, economic transformation and positioning the region as India's gateway to Southeast Asia under the Act East policy. The seventh enabler is nature, culture, and sustainability. Northeast forests, rivers, mountains, and biodiversity are among India's greatest natural assets. Equally important are its rich cultural traditions, indigenous knowledge systems, and unique heritage. in a world increasingly seeking sustainable pathways to growth, the Northeast possesses a natural advantage. The region has immense potential to emerge as a leader in nature-based solutions, climate resilience, ecotourism, sustainable agriculture, and green development. The eighth enabler is partnership and cooperation. The transformation of Northeast cannot be achieved by governments alone. It requires collaboration among the central government, state government, local communities, multilateral institutions, private investors, civil society organizations, and academic institutions. The journey towards Vikasit Northeast must be powered by a whole of government and whole of society approach. So as we leverage development finance, we must also ensure that no district is left behind. Guided by the principle of Antyodaya, our efforts should aim for broad-based district-level coverage so that the benefits of development reach the last mile and the most remote communities across Northeast. So friends, the Department of Economic Affairs has been working closely with the multilateral and bilateral partners to support India's development priorities. Our objective is not simply to mobilize greater financing. Our objective is to achieve better outcomes for our citizens. The discussions over the next 2 days on project preparation, implementation, financial management, institutional strengthening, and private capital mobilization will therefore be extremely valuable in shaping the next phase of development in the Northeastern region. I encourage all participating states to use this opportunity not only to learn from successful experiences, but also to build enduring systems that outlast individual projects and create a strong foundation for future investments. The Northeast today stands at the confluence of opportunity, aspiration, and strategic importance. The future of Northeast is not a story waiting to be written. It is the story that is already unfolding. Let us therefore move toward a shared resolve to transform potential into prosperity, connectivity into opportunity, investment into livelihoods, and partnership into lasting progress. With these words, I wish this workshop every success and look forward to the valuable outcomes that will emerge from your deliberations. I wish all participants fruitful deliberations and successful outcomes. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Honorable Union Minister of Finance, Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman, for your thought-provoking address and reaffirming the importance of building capable institutions and strong systems to support the region's continued growth and transformation. Thank you for outlining the 8 enablers so apt for the 8 Northeastern states, which will enable the Northeast reach bigger heights. Your speech surely will inspire and pave way for a productive workshop. So thank you once again. Well, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we had initially planned to invite participating states to make brief presentations. However, as the presentations and the briefs highlighted had been placed before the Honorable Finance Minister by the Honorable Chief Ministers, therefore, we shall now move to the closing remarks of the session, which will be given by the Secretary, Ministry of Development of Northeastern Region, Mr. Sanjay Jaju.
Respected dignitaries, colleagues from the Northeastern states, distinguished delegates, friends from across the development community, I stand here to deliver the vote of thanks I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the Honorable Finance Minister, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman ji, who's not just been a greatest supporter of the Northeast, but also has envisioned this seminar which could provide guidance and support to all the Northeastern states to tap the externally aided projects. Ma'am, as was pointed out by you, Northeast is not just a geographical frontier, it's India's window to the Southeast Asia, and it's important that they do not remain at the periphery of the mainstream development. Ma'am, under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister and the support provided by you, the region has now emerged from being a frontier to the position of being a front runner. It's been leading India's growth story. I've been coming here and I've been told that most of the states are doubling their economies in 5 years. They are growing at a CAGR of more than 13 to 14%, and the economic growth of the region is outspacing the national average. But at the same time, ma'am, the momentum that has been built needs to be maintained, and we need to ensure that this region, which has almost 8% of the natural geographical area of our country, the share of the region in the current in the GDP of our country needs to also go at the same pace. I'd also like to express my gratitude to the Honorable Chief Ministers of Assam, Shri Hemant Biswa Sharma ji, Chief Minister of Meghalaya, Shri Conrad Sangma ji, Chief Minister of Mizoram, Lalduma ji, Chief Minister of Nagaland, who had to leave for some urgent assignment, Nifuriyu ji, Honorable Chief Minister of Sikkim, Shri Prem Singh Tamang ji, Honorable Chief Minister of Tripura, Dr. Manik Sahaji. As was mentioned by all the Chief Ministers, Northeast is growing at remarkable rates, and there's a lot of improvements, visible improvements happening in infrastructure, both social as well as hard infrastructure. But ma'am, the deficits in many areas continue to be real and unmistakable. The challenges before the Northeastern states, as was mentioned by all the Chief Ministers, is that they have very little fiscal room available to mobilize their own resources for development expenditure. And that's why they have huge dependence on central funds, while a lot of support is being provided by Government of India, both in form of the 10% GBS mechanism, various schemes of the Ministry of Donaire, and very happy to tell you that this year more than 1 lakh crore has come out of the 10% GBS spend. But it's also important, as all the Honorable Chief Ministers mentioned, that other sources of funding, both the private investments and external aid, are tapped. Ma'am, in this regard, last year, Rising Northeast Investor Summit was held, and commitments worth more than 4.5 lakh crore were taken in from various investors, and we have been monitoring all these commitments rigorously. I'd also like to express my gratitude to all the development partners. It's, as was mentioned by the Honorable Finance Minister and all the Honorable Chief Ministers, it's the concessional long-term financing which helps many of these states to take up priorities, as was mentioned by various Chief Ministers. They do not just provide finance, they also help in technical expertise, they also show us the global best practices, and all this actually play a huge transformation role which support alone cannot offer. There are multiple sectors of opportunities, as was mentioned, opportunities in connectivity, opportunities in power, health, education, ecotourism, climate-smart agriculture, where the northeastern region's unique geography and biodiversity offer huge opportunities. I'd also like to thank DEA, led by the Secretary, my dear friend Anuradha, and all our teammates, all the Chief Secretaries, all the officials who have come in from various parts of the northeastern states, including Sikkim. I'm sure, ma'am, all the officers here understand the importance of the quality of project preparation, which lies at the heart of any proposal that we give to the external aided agencies. It's also important that when it comes to Northeast, we follow stringent environmental and social safeguards. We also lay conformance to the fiduciary norms and procurement frameworks. And I'm sure the next 2 days would allow all our officials to gain insights into various nuances of how a project should be posed before any multilateral agency. I'm absolutely sure that all of them will also look at the country partnership frameworks, which allow them to tap these funds. At the same time, I'm sure that they will make use of all the TA grants which are available from various MDBs, which can help Northeast get more and more projects. I'd also like to thank each one of you who will be there next 2 days, and I'm sure these 2 days will provide all of us opportunities, all of us from the central government, importantly from the state governments, various multilateral agencies, members of the civil society, to join hands in this endeavor, because as was mentioned by our Honorable Prime Minister multiple times, as was mentioned by our Honorable Finance Minister today, that Northeast's moment is now, and we will not allow it to pass. Once again, my gratitude to each one of you. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.
Thank you, Secretary Donor. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we conclude the inaugural session of this workshop. A heartfelt thanks once again to our distinguished guests for shaping the agenda for 2 days workshop on externally aided projects in the northeastern region. Thank you. We will now see the Honorable Union Minister, the Honorable Chief Ministers, and other distinguished dignitaries depart for their onward engagements.